I used to think wedding days were the happiest moments in a person's life. I used to think love was sacred, that family was safe. That illusion shattered into a million irreparable shards on the night of my wedding reception. It started beautifully. The venue sparkled with string lights and soft music. The scent of roses and gardenias drifted through the air as guests laughed, danced, and toasted to what was supposed to be the beginning of a fairy tale. I had just changed out of my gown into a silk reception dress when I spotted my aunt, Aunt Carla, standing stiffly by the bar, sipping wine with a face that didn't match the joy in the room. Carla had always been blunt, fiery even, the kind of woman who didn't sugarcoat a thing, especially when she was angry. But she'd also helped raise me when my dad died. She was like a second mom. So when she locked eyes with me and motioned me over with a tight, concerned expression, I felt the first knot of dread form in my stomach. "We need to talk." "Now," she said, gripping my arm. I laughed nervously. "Can it wait? I'm kind of busy being a bride." She didn't smile. "No, sweetheart, it really can't." She led me to a side room behind the DJ booth. Far enough in the crowd, but not far enough to escape the bass thumping through the walls. Her hand was shaking. "I didn't want to do this today. God knows I tried to stay quiet, for your sake. But I can't let you build a life on a lie." I stared at her, suddenly cold despite the heat of the June evening. She opened her purse and pulled out her phone. "Your husband, Eli, and your mother. I saw them last month at a hotel. I thought I was going crazy, so I followed them again. I even took these." She swiped, showing me a photo of Eli with his arms wrapped around someone. Then another. My heart slammed against my ribs as I saw the unmistakable blonde curls of my mother, Anna, tilted back in laughter as Eli kissed her neck. I staggered backward, nearly tripping over a stool. No, that can't be." "I'm sorry, baby," Aunt Carla whispered, tears in her eyes. "But it's true. Your mom, Eli, they've been seeing each other behind your back." My stomach turned. Suddenly, the little things made sense. How weirdly quiet they get when I walked into a room. The inside jokes they brushed off, the way Mom insisted on helping plan everything. Even pushing for the honeymoon location. I stormed back into the reception like a woman possessed. The room blurred. Laughter, music, the clinking of glasses, it all sounded fake now. I found Eli near the dance floor, holding a drink and grinning like he hadn't just set fire to our lives. My mother stood 2 feet away, pretending to chat with guests, her dress too tight, her smile too wide. I walked straight to the mic stand and tapped it. The room fell quiet. "Sorry to interrupt the fun," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "but I have an announcement to make." Eli turned, the grin on his face slowly dying. Some couples start their marriage with secrets. I guess I'm no exception. Except mine isn't a secret anymore. Gasps rippled through the crowd as I held up Aunt Carla's phone. This is my husband kissing my mother, and apparently it's not the first time. Silence. My mother dropped her champagne flute. It shattered like my heart. Eli tried to approach me, stammering, "Babe, just, please, let's talk." I stepped back. "Don't. Not here. Not ever again." Chaos broke out. Guests murmured, some shouted. My uncle pulled Eli away while my cousin held my mother back, both of them crying. Aunt Carla stood beside me like a warrior shielding her own. All I could hear was my own breath and the faint sound of the last song still playing in the background. "Can't Help Falling in Love." How cruel. The night ended in tears and slammed doors. The honeymoon trip became a solo getaway. The marriage? Annulled before the ink was even dry. As for my mother, I haven't spoken to her since. I learned something valuable that day. That love should never come with betrayal. That blood isn't always loyalty. And that sometimes the truth arrives in a dress, holding a mic, with nothing left to lose. And me? I'm still here, healing, stronger than ever. Because the truth didn't ruin my life. It freed me. The weeks after the wedding were a blur, grief and rage tangled in sleepless nights and unopened texts. I stayed with Aunt Carla for a while. Her spare bedroom became my sanctuary, even if it still smelled like the mothballs she refused to throw out. I cried into those old floral sheets more times than I could count. Eli tried calling. My mom, too. The first time, I hurled my phone against the wall. The second time, I blocked both numbers. By the third, I wasn't angry, I was numb. What haunted me most wasn't just a betrayal. It was them. Together. The two people I should have trusted most. My husband and my own mother. There's no name for that kind of betrayal. Nothing in any dictionary that captures the ass in your throat when you realize your entire life was theater, and you were the only one who didn't know it was an act. The press got wind of it, too. A wedding planner from the reception leaked a post. Scandal at the Anderson Hale wedding. Bride exposes cheating groom and her mother in front of 200 guests. It went viral. Some people thought it was fake. Others turned it into a meme. I was suddenly the face of heartbreak. The jilted bride of the internet. Funny how strangers can care more about your story than the people who ruined it. But slowly with time, I started to rebuild. I went back to work. Saw a therapist. Took up kickboxing, mostly to get the anger out, but punching something felt good. One rainy Tuesday afternoon, a small letter arrived. No return address. Inside was a note in my mother's handwriting. I never meant for it to go this far. I was lonely, weak. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that I still love you. Always. Mom, I didn't cry. Not because it didn't hurt, but because I had nothing left for her. No forgiveness. Not yet. What I did instead was this. I started over. I changed my name back to my maiden one. I moved across town and opened a small event design studio. Ironically, I help people plan their happiest days. I know it sounds strange, but giving other people joy, it started to bring some back to me. A year later, I stood at a lakeside wedding. My first solo design project. The bride walked down the aisle beaming, the groom wiping tears from his eyes. It hit me like a breeze. Love can be real. Just not mine, not then. And that's okay. Eli and my mother, they moved in together, I heard. Lasted about 5 months before the implosion. Turns out, betrayal doesn't make a great foundation. People still ask me if I'd ever get married again. My answer? Maybe. But next time, I won't just say yes because it feels like the dream I'm supposed to chase. I'll say yes when it feels like home, safe, solid, honest. Until then, I'm choosing myself. Every day. And honestly, that's the best vow I've ever made. It's strange how silence can be louder than any scream. A year passed, then 2. My mother never tried again. Eli eventually remarried. To someone new, someone who probably didn't know the full story. I saw the photos online once by accident. He looked happy, but something in his eyes, maybe guilt, maybe emptiness, reminded me why I was better off without him. I never went back to that part of my life. Never stepped foot in my childhood home again. Aunt Carla and I grew closer than ever. Family by blood, yes, but more importantly, family by choice. She never said I told you so, never made me feel like I should have known. She just stood beside me. Always. Eventually, I fell in love again. It didn't happen the way stories usually go. No lightning bolt moment. No dramatic gestures. Just friendship. Safety, time, a man who didn't need to hide anything, who asked me questions, listened to my silences, and never tried to fix me, just stood there patient and kind while I healed. We got married quietly. No big reception. No champagne towers or dancing under chandeliers. Just a backyard, close friends, vows whispered under string lights, and Aunt Carla cry in the front row. This time, I didn't wear white. I wore deep red, the color of survival, of courage, of blood and fire, and the love I built for myself before anyone else. And as we stood there, hands clasped, the wind moving through the trees, I knew something I hadn't known before. The first wedding wasn't the beginning of my life. This one was.